that all is well with my brother and all is well with his case. Now, black on black crime has continually taken place. And I just got a message that some people wasn't able to tune in, but now you're tuning in. Thank you. Go ahead and check me out. Thanks for everyone again for tuning in. I'm Kevin Dorival. King Kevin Show. Today is March 5th, 2014. I'm going to try to sum up what I was saying earlier. But thank you again for everyone who's now tuning in and for the request for me to repeat what I was saying. I'm repeating it because I love you and hopefully you love me as well. My love is a righteous and pure love. To mention again, I was shooting a documentary out there in South Beach. We did a documentary on a huge boat, huge yacht. As a matter of fact, on South Beach, we had a great time. Big thank you, big bless you to Ephraim Cambron for looking out with the camera equipment, recording. This guy has been sticking with me from the Kickstarter campaign to now. So if you guys want a good cameraman to be on your team to help you out with your projects, go ahead and check him out. That's Ephraim Cambron. You can email him or you can contact me. Go to my website, thecouragetobelieve.com. We're actually going to have a newsletter I mentioned earlier coming out. It may come out tomorrow morning. So you guys check out your emails tonight. You're going to get that between the next 24, 48 hours. Thank God. And we're going to discuss what I've read from Black on Black Violence by Dr. Amos Wilson. This book is a very profound, has a resounding effect. It has a resounding effect on me anyway because I just could not put this book down. I'm at about 100 pages now, 101 pages. Black on Black Violence, the psychodynamics of black self-annihilation in service of white domination. And he broke it down to a science to fully explain what is taking place within the black community and how it's relatable to the global economy and global politics, the socio-economic issues of black on black violence. Now, when you watch the news and television, it's just showing you black males gang banging, shooting each other, being very violent amongst each other, disrespecting the women, violating our women, our children. As a matter of fact, yes, that is going on, and it definitely needs to stop, which is the purpose of this show. The purpose of this show is to put an end to it, to see if we can come up with some solutions. I'm going to present some solutions, and my documentary, The Courage to Believe, is also going to be playing a huge role in finding out how we can circumvent this pipeline from school to prison and also decrease the amount of black on black violence that's going on. This is going to take a collaborative effort. This is going to take assistance from people in New York, Chicago, Minnesota, Cali, Miami, to Jacksonville, to Atlanta, Memphis, Birmingham, Houston. If I forgot your city, we're going to need all and everybody's support on this. This is major. I can go on and on with the stats, how many black folks died. But big shout out to my people in Chicago who, Mrs. Brandy, thank you, Mrs. Brandy, for calling in yesterday. We had a great phone conference yesterday, and first time we finally got a chance to speak. There's a young woman who's doing some great things to the community up there in Chicago. She connected me with a gentleman up there as well. So God bless both of them. They both follow me on Twitter, which is @CourageToBelieve. That's @2Believe again. And as I mentioned earlier, before I had to rephrase everything, the documentary we're going to be filming in different prisons. God willing, I just got denied another prison because of my criminal record. And those of you who don't know, I myself have a criminal record dating back from 2001, 2002. So it's a very long time ago, nearly 12 years ago. and I still suffered the consequences from that, which we're going to get into, which is called collateral consequences. And what collateral consequences is, when you get convicted of a crime, you will continue to suffer once you get out of society regarding benefits. Some of those benefits and privileges are the right to vote, which is a big one. Many states and many of the black population in those states can't vote right now. And we'll go over some stats about that. And we're also going to go over Sidney Poitier, This Life. I read this book years ago, and we're going to discuss some of that. And we're going to also talk about his other book, The Measure of a Man. Since you're talking about black on black crime, I think the message that I'm going to give you guys regarding both of these books is going to definitely hit home to the majority of the men. And hopefully the women as well. You know, ladies, I did not forget y'all. I love y'all too. And by the way, those who didn't see my shirt, keep calm and live by faith. Okay? So keep calm, live by faith. You know what I'm saying? Got my little muscle thing going on. You guys see my muscles. I've been working out. Little entertainment for you guys. You know, this isn't some serious show where you're going to cry. Maybe some of you may cry. But I seem to be a little silly and you know, humorous sometimes, but you need that in life. Life can be too tough and difficult to be too serious. And I'm going to be playing a song by Tupac called 16 on Death Row. So hope you guys can hear it. If you can't, just let me know and we'll continue pushing forward. Now, back with the show. The states dealing with collateral consequences, the states that are highly affected by this, and not just you can't vote, you can't get student loans, go to college, you can't own a home, well, you can own a home where you got cash, but it's hard to get approved for. Let's say you want to live in a condo or some sort of apartment, you want to apply for it. That, as many of you, especially if you're an adult, you know that it's not that easy to get a place when your record isn't squeaky clean. Now, where I live at, I call it the yacht. I have a thing for yachts, if you guys didn't know. If I did not connect with the woman that connected me with another woman to get this place, who bypassed my criminal record, bypassed my credit history, literally just opened the door for me and I'm here. You know, I live in a lovely 2-room condo. So I've said a couple of times on my show, I'm very thankful and blessed. And I pray to own this place. And I pray to own another place and many places and properties, which we need to do. And this is one of the solutions to black on black violence, is to become entrepreneurs. Create your own income. Create your own jobs. Create jobs. Careers. Further your education. Read books. Right now, I'm looking at 5-6 books, like literally in my face. If I turn around, I'm looking at another 300 books in my office. Because I read. I understand there's power in reading. There's power in knowledge. To know oneself is to be able to control your own time as well, which I'm going to get into that regarding Dr. Amos's book. Now, the other states that cannot vote, as I was saying, was that has a huge voting problem. Now, they can't vote. That sounds ridiculous. Kentucky, Virginia, and Florida, nearly 20% of the population can't vote. 20% of the black population, rather, are barred from voting. And then you have places like Virginia, not Virginia, Mississippi, that is 14% of the black population can't vote. Isn't that ridiculous? Do you know how much voting power we are losing? Now, these individuals can't even buy guns. Now, I know many of you are like, no, he has a felony record, he can't buy guns. But let me tell you, I have a felony record and I want to own a gun. I believe in protecting and providing for my family. Let me repeat that again. I believe in protecting and providing for my family. And to be at home at the mercy of some criminal or some deranged individual, to be at their mercy and not be able to defend my family, I am completely against that. And I'm saying that as a Christian, I'm saying that as a Pan-Africanist, I'm saying that as a newly reborn soldier. I believe in protecting myself. And I believe every woman, every man out there, if you can get a gun, or if you can get a something, even if it's a small gun or a stun, not even you get a stun gun if you don't feel safe with guns. Something that you can defend yourself with, because it is crazy out here. And once I repeat these stats to you, and the amount of crime that is taking place around the country from the 1980s to up until 2013, you are going to want to get a gun yourself. You're going to want to protect yourself, okay? Now, and also what I want to tell you guys, I'm trying to catch my breath. We'll go some stats that the Bureau of Justice Statistics has given us. I just mentioned some of them to you. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is what Mr. Attorney General Eric Holder mentioned in his press release last year. Now, the Attorney General mentioned that they want to reduce the harsh punishments for non-violent criminals, because once you get incarcerated for non-violent crime, let's say you're selling you got caught with 5 cocaine rocks, you're going to serve a minimum amount of time, no matter how much the judge or your attorney or the support of your family presented themselves in that courtroom. If it's 10 years, you're going to do 10 years. Now, when you have thousands upon thousands of people getting incarcerated every year, which, by the way, United States of America, which is, I forget the population, I believe it's, I can't say the percentage of the global population right now on top of my head. But I will tell you this, the United States of America is has the number one prison population, amount of people in prison in the world. And when I believe the United States is only like 5-10% of the world population, but has 25% of the prison population of the world. 25%. So there's some sort of incentive or something morally wrong with this Christian nation. As Dr. Amos says, something is inherently wrong. Now, when they portray black people on TV, whether it be the news, social media, newspapers, movies, it's always showing black people as inherently violent, prone to violence and crime, that we were born to kill, destroy, and steal. And that is not the case. As a matter of fact, white folks, ladies and gentlemen, commit just the same amount of crimes as black folks. But they don't portray them as that on television. Yeah, they show a few white boys and white women committing crimes, but they always show you as black folks doing the majority of the killing. Is this a setup? Is this a way to control the black population? To condone the harsh punishments like Mr. Holder, the Attorney General, was saying? If the Attorney General of the United States sees it as a big problem, President Barack Obama just made a speech last Thursday about this, which gives me even more momentum to come out with my documentary to help save our youth from going to prison, which, by the way, I need all support I can get. That shows that they are now paying attention to what is going on in the country. There are too many of our young men, especially our young black men, getting in prison. Now, there was this myth that there were more black males in prison than in college. And to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, that is definitely not true. As a matter of fact, according to the research that I've been doing, that number actually changed since 2002, where there are actually more black males in college than in prison. So why is it that they have this propaganda going that there's so many black males in prison? And I'm going to tell you why. The reason is because it goes along with their plan, with the Europeans' plan, the European system, to keep us in the ghetto. Because when you can't vote, you're only able to make a certain amount of money. And I'm talking like this because I've been in these shoes, so I understand the frustration of my brothers. I understand and comprehend fully the pain and suffering that they are going through once they have made a mistake. They paid for it. They want to get back to society, but they can't do it because the system is built so that you would always be marginalized as a underclass, as a second-rated citizen, someone that doesn't necessarily matter to the overall scheme of the United States of America, which is a great country, by the way. Now it is. I feel as if we are in one of the most privileged countries in the world. I mean, a lot of things we do, other countries, you go to Korea, they'll blow your head off. Or they hang you. They'll kill your whole family. You commit a crime. Back in Korea, you commit a crime, your whole family going to jail with you, in prison with you. And that's a fact. Now, back in 2000, you go to my website, there's a blog called Black on Black Crime and How to Reverse the Curse. So I haven't made it live yet, but it will be. I've actually written already. I'm waiting on someone to proofread it. But in 2000, you will see these numbers. TheCurseToBelieve.com. Check me out. In year 2000, the total amount of black men in prison was 829,200, or almost a million. Black men enrolled in post-secondary education is 717,491. In year 2001, still the same. There was more men in prison. 2002, correction, there were still more men in prison. No, I'm sorry. I said it right. That's when it changed, so I was correct. 2002, there was 805. Wow, that's crazy. 851,600 black inmates in prison, United States of America. In the very same year, all of a sudden, there's 964,724 black males in post-secondary education. That's trade schools, nursing schools, business schools, colleges, universities, the whole nine. Now, could it be that this has always been the case with just the variables of these stats, and whoever collects this data never included these other post-secondary places? Like I mentioned, the vocational schools, the nursing schools, the trade schools. Maybe they're just talking about colleges. Now, in 2003, we finally struck a million. We finally struck a million black males in college. In 2003, I just got out of jail. So, I was definitely one of those brothers that helped this stat. I shouldn't be proud of that, but, I'm just saying. And I'm not proud of it. And going down, 2010, there were 844,600 black males in prison compared to 1,341,354 in college. So I'm quite sure 2014, 4 years later, there's a lot more people. This has been brought to you by the Bureau of Justice Statistics, National Prisoner Statistics Program. Okay, so I'm not just shooting out the wind with these numbers. The fact of the matter is, if we don't have more black men in home, more black men taking care of their women, their wife, I was going to say women, but taking care of their woman, providing, protecting, being able to teach the boys to become men, to become kings. We are kings, ladies and gentlemen. The women, you ladies out there who are watching to this show or who are going to watch this video on YouTube, you are queens. The way they portray us in the media, black folks in the media, that is a crime. Degrading some even black countries and nations, even in Haiti, they always show you, and just to stress this, what I'm talking about regarding the propaganda, which reminds me, we're going to talk about Mr. Sigmund Freud, who is a very interesting psychologist who started something, an institute in London, and we're going to talk about that today. Believe me, we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of this. Believe me. So the fact that We have all of this going on, degrading Haiti, making Haiti seem like the most poorest place in the world, and they never show you the nice places of Haiti. They only show you about crime, or show you the poor parts, and they really expound on that. They expounded on that when the earthquake happened. Then you got different countries in Africa, Nigeria, Somalia. They don't tell you that actually, believe it or not, the whole continent of Africa as a whole is the most peaceful place in the world. Now, yeah, you have countries in Africa going through some things, going through some civil wars. We had that going on. Of course, you see it in the news. You seen Hotel Rwanda. You've seen, and if you haven't read some of these books that's out there that stress about the civil wars and how they come about, who is triggering that? Who's supplying these guns, by the way? Who's supplying these guns in Chicago? And by the way, shout out to my girl, Brandy, in Chicago. Good looking out for all your help and support. I really do appreciate you. I just want to make sure I said that. Who's supplying these young individuals, these young black males in Chicago, all these guns? Who's supplying Louisiana with all these guns? We ain't making no guns in the ghetto. So they come from somewhere. Could it be some sort of population control? Strategic. Could it be some sort of brainwashing? Would you believe me? Back in 1920. I'm sorry, scratch that. In 1940 something, there was a book called Three Niggers and the Sheriff, something like that. They actually gave this book out in the schools. They gave this book out and teach the kids to study these books, to learn how to talk to black people, to learn how to treat them in the degrading fashion, belittle them. This has been a systematic process. This has been going on for generations. You watch the news, you see black males going to jail, black rappers acting a fool on television, black rappers fighting and shooting each other, the East and West Coast beef so-called beef between Tupac and Biggie. You know what I'm saying? And Tupac said, this is much bigger than me and Biggie. And he kept saying that. So he was throwing out little symbols out there. That was part of the plan. Let's get beef going. Let's show violence. And they know that by projecting this negative image, that they are in a way systematically making us look at ourselves, our self-perception, at a low state, at a degrading state, at a, what's the word I want to use? I want to use something powerful. In a fashion so negative, at a way of so demoralizing that you will hate yourself. If you hate yourself, you're going to be willing to kill yourself. And if you're not going to kill yourself, you're going to kill the person next to you. That is why black on black crime is the way it is today. It's because of that self-perception. The identity of African descendants have been manipulated in so many ways for so many years. Not to mention, it started in Africa before the slave ships. Started with religion, bringing Christianity over, their version of Christianity, which was in a way they only used Christianity to infiltrate the different tribes, to spy, to see what goods they had, what kind of women, what kind of money, what kind of treasures that they can exploit. You talking about Spain. You talking about throughout Europe. You talking about Asia. The Portuguese in the south, I believe, is Asia, and the French were in West Africa. Asians were definitely also in the north, but the Europeans, that's what they did. And then they also changed the names of a lot of these individuals. Once they were able to come in there and divide them, make them fight each other, sell them guns, kill one another, and then enslave who was left. Doesn't that sound a little familiar? Prison today, ladies and gentlemen, is modern day slavery. Prison today, with 2 million, roughly 2 million inmates right now. Over half of those, almost half of those inmates, black and white, half of those, excuse me, 49% are black women and black males. The largest prison population right now is black males. And as I mentioned earlier, in Florida, only one out of every four black males can't vote. And you think about that. 1 out of 4, if they can't vote, that must mean chances are they're not getting a good education. Chances are they're going to have to make a way to find a means to make a living. And with that being said, if black people that's all around you and you're jealous, you don't have what they have, or you feel as if you have to prove yourself because you hate your life, you hate yourself, you're going to attack that person next to you. That is why they project black people as inherently violent or prone to destroy the person next to them. Now, white folks are doing the same thing. They are killing, they are violating, they are destroying their own communities as well, just about the same as black folks do. But the reason why they don't show white people like that, because it goes against the plan that the system has, which is to make the black community as obsolete. You follow what I'm saying? Because if you can show how violent they are, then society will condone the harsh punishments. They can condone martial law in the black community, which in a way is martial law now. Years ago, I was chased by police. This happened to me a couple of times ago when I was a teenager. And when I ran, they asked me, why did you run? Because I'm black. That wasn't even being funny. You know what I mean? That